that simply working on your mindset only gives you half your potential chance for success.
You bring this whole new element to what we're doing. You know, you're bringing in the earth luck for true transformation.
It would be a travesty if I don't do this. I've got the Western training and the scientific knowledge to bring this Eastern wisdom practice, which seems so esoteric. I expected the results to be good, but it was mind-blowing. I'm living it now, right? Talk about creating the life you love.
Yeah.
This is it, right? Find every reason to design your own sanctuary. Be open-minded to the power of the Cosmic Trinity. Puts everything into context. My ultimate vision to inspire Western urban planners that they should design and build entire cities based on good Feng Shui principles.
Hey everybody, it's Chris Duncan here, and I am so excited to be with another one of our authors in the Superconscious Transformation book. And this one I've been looking forward to. I've got notes. And so I'd like to formally introduce you to Master Boon, who's one of our authors. And I am so thrilled. You're sitting in New Zealand, I'm sitting in Australia, and I'm so would you just start off a little bit about talking a little bit about who you are, your background, because it's a really interesting story.
Okay. I am Boon Yap, a Feng Shui master, and for the rest of the world, it's easy to remember me as Master Boon. My father, Grandmaster Yap Ching Hai, he was the visionary who first brought traditional Chinese Feng Shui into the West 50 years ago, the very, very first.
Wow.
He trained me, and prior to his passing, anointed me as the Feng Shui master to hold his lineage and carry forward this legacy.
Wow.
So, most of the so-called who's who in the West, and I am the best known secret, who's who has been inspired by him. A lot of it's now gone really diluted and a lot of misinformation. So there's a lot to be done. Yeah. So that's my background. I learned martial arts at 4 years old, and then Feng Shui in my teens. And I've used it since then for my university life in Australia. So at 18, thrown across, to Australia. And I began my whole life at 18 and with Feng Shui.
Wow.
So I've lived and breathed it, and have also experienced the glitch when I hadn't been careful of it.
All right.
And that's a personal experience. So people say, okay, you've lived it, you breathed it, you don't really know what it's like. Believe me, I do.
Yeah. I mean, I was reading through your story, and your contribution to the book is really profound. But I would love to hear a little bit from you. What inspired you to contribute to this book, and what's the main message of your chapter?
Yeah. My main message is that simply working on your mindset only gives you half your potential chance for success. Let me explain, right? Traditional Tao wisdom teaches us that a person's fortune is shaped by 3 core forces: heaven luck, human luck, and earth luck, collectively known as the Cosmic Trinity. Okay.
Yeah.
So to put you into context here, heaven luck is our destiny. It's beyond our control. The moment, time, and date of birth, you are given this predetermined path, but it's only a third. Other cultures will have the fatalistic attitude, think that's everything. No, for our tradition, it's only a third. Human luck, that's where you come in, Chris. It's our actions, our mindset, our personal decisions, that contributes another third. So of course, if you don't apply yourself, you're lazy, you don't use that third. Now, earth luck, that is Feng Shui. Earth is a metaphor for the cosmology. Basically, it's cosmic forces. And the ancients, how they derived the formulas and systems, it's lost in time. It's 5,000 years of knowledge, right? So and Chinese people are very pragmatic people. We retain the practical aspects. We not unlike the West that always ask why. Okay, we don't care the why. we've got a system, it works, it's been proven, empirical observations from time immemorial. And and then it's, of course, it's passed on from lineage to lineage, and we evolve. It's a living wisdom practice. It evolves with the times, with the different ways we build different cultures now. And we're an incredible world now where Feng Shui has reached the whole world, different cultures, different designs. It's just quite amazing. And myself, of course, my father before me, and now my students, we will be assimilating these new ways of building into our system and formulas, and now come up with evolved principles. So it is incredible.
I really loved it. I know. I just jump in. I was just all the listeners. I was reading, because I've read all the chapters and editing and looking at it, and I read, and it really stuck out to me, this Cosmic Trinity. I was like, right, heaven luck, right? I mean, I get that. And then I was like, human luck. And I was like, oh, yeah, you got to apply yourself. You got to focus. Then there was this earth luck. And I was like, I've never heard that before. It's such a big contribution to the book, really.
Yeah. So your work on superconscious transformation is fantastic, right? But it's only half the picture. You truly embrace authentic Feng Shui, you complete the picture and double your chance of success. Why is it double? Because you can't do anything with your heaven luck.
And so for those who aren't sure or heard Feng Shui, would you just give a little bit of an explanation of what it means?
Okay. It is basically the energy that is in your surroundings, your whole environment. Why we focus so much on the home is because we spend 2/3 of our day in our home. Right? Sleeping a third, the other third is before and after. The other third is at work, right? So where we are in any space for a length of time, that space will affect us.
Yeah.
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 We have to look at space as in the far extension, the external. And right before me, I've got the mountains, I've got the sea, I've got the valley. This is the view from my office, right? The whole external space, that macro space, affects us. Where that mountain is in respect to my home is either good energy or bad energy. Where that sea is. And so it depends on direction, it depends on time, it depends on time, space.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
It's such an important thing. I remember when we bought a home and we were dowsing for where the water and the ley lines were of the house and where to put certain things. And you can change the whole energy of your room, which changes you, which changes your day, just by how you structure things. And I really know it to be true. It's to me, it's a real felt experience. Like I've literally had this as a focus and gone, wow, look at how different it is when we do this. So I don't get it, but you know what I mean? I felt it. It's really.
But if you embrace Feng Shui, which is yet another discipline, you take it beyond anything you've ever experienced.
Wow.
And so it is that external, and then it's the internal. The layout, the floor layout of your space is so critical. Where your kitchen should not be your bedroom. All right, it's very, very clear. It should not. How you orientate, how you sleep, how you orientate your stove, your everything, every bit. It's really, really in depth. And what you read in the media, popular and in internet, all the sources, written sources, is just tickling the surface. Right. So it's this desire and passion to get that message up, because I personally experienced all this. I've personally experienced it through my clients, and my father's clients, and I'm in my mid-60s. I've grown up with this and practiced it since I was in my teens, so 50 years, right? Professionally consulted for 30 years. But I'm a scientist. I actually breathed as a biomedical scientist. I cut my teeth in the blood field, and I'm real known for doing that in my method. And I worked in stem cells when no one heard about it back in 1995, right?
Wow.
So I think it would be a travesty if I don't do this, because I've got the Western training and the scientific knowledge to bring this Eastern wisdom practice, which seems so esoteric and often woo-woo as practiced in the West, into the forefront of something that is truly, truly practical.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. And it has to be a felt experience, I think. And I think most of the people listening to this or watching this have felt when you're in a place and it just feels really, what's the word? In flow. And it's incredible. And what people don't realize, which I think you do, is how much that affects their overall well-being. And that's really what I sense from your chapter, how it fits into the overall theme of this book of superconscious transformation, is that you bring this whole new element to what we're doing. You're bringing in the earth luck for true transformation. Does that sound about right?
Yes, definitely. It's the other half of the equation. Yeah. The other
Yeah.
half.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it's a big
Yeah.
missing piece, it's a big missing
Yes.
piece. And people say this to me a lot. They go, oh, this is the missing piece. I'm like, yeah, there's a lot, our stuff's a one focus. Someone will always say to me, oh, Chris, I got this diagnosis or this health challenge. And what do you recommend about nutrition? And should I do no nutrition? I'm like, look, you should do everything. My part's just one part, and everything else matters too. Everything else matters. So I'd love to jump into a key lesson or insight that maybe a story you've had with a client or something significant that was a big impact that you've had by through your work. Do you have one that comes to mind?
Definitely. I can talk about personal experience. I can talk about my clients, right? My
Yeah.
personal experience, I share a key insight lesson. I'm
Mm.
one of the very, very few Feng Shui masters. Actually, I don't know of any other ones.
Wow.
I know all the who's who from the beginning,
Wow.
who has walked the talk and
Mm.
built their own home based on strict Feng Shui principles to
Mm.
create a unique sanctuary. In fact, my build was featured in Grand Designs New Zealand.
Yeah, I saw that on your website. That's amazing.
series 6, episode 4. They followed us over 2 years. It was 2 years because we built 2 buildings. Okay.
Wow.
These principles embrace everything from land selection. We traversed 180 kilometers of coastline to look for the dragon, the perfect dragon. And I said, this is the land where the dragons play. And dragons are metaphor for mountains. Okay.
Huh.
So we embrace everything from land selection, site orientation, through to building design. So I designed the whole space. We actually went through the bush, it's thick bush, and we set the building lines. So the earth movers, when they came and they worked according to us building lines, and it's accurate to plus or minus 1 degree.
Wow.
You need to be that accurate to extract the power of the land. And that site is the meridian point of the land.
Wow.
Right.
Wow.
And so I expected the results to be good, but it was mind blowing. I'm living it now. Right. Talk
Mm.
about creating the life you love.
Yeah.
This is it, right?
Yeah.
Even though I've been practicing Feng Shui for 50 years, I was truly humbled by the results. Right?
Wow.
So my key insight is that everyone should find a reason to design their own sanctuary based on strict Feng Shui principles. Find every reason to design your own sanctuary, and the results will be mind blowing.
Yeah. No, I like that. They're very cool. What are some of the challenges that that people face in this area? And do you have any suggestions for overcoming them?
Biggest challenge is sorting out the charlatan from the true masters.
Yeah, that is a big one.
There's so much information, so much. And then, even from the same source, they contradict each other.
Huh.
Right? Because people are regurgitating, and it's unfortunate that people see this as a money-making machine.
Mm.
And it really set me into despair. Remember my father and I talking about it, and he's so saddened by how it had become. So he passed away 10 years ago. So 40 years of it, he's seen how it's changed, right?
Mm.
So the only way to overcome this is to truly talk to your master and form
Mm,
your own opinion to their
mm,
credibility, because there is no university, no Harvard business
yeah.
school, no, right? So you need to form your own opinion to their credibility and conduct due diligence on their lineage. It is really important. I think the West don't normally hear of the word lineage, but in any wisdom practice that has gone through millennium, of real usage, it it is so important, because that transference of wisdom
Mm,
is so tight. You go to university, you'll go and sit in, and the lecturer doesn't know who you are even, right?
yeah.
But the master knows everyone, and the master will know who to say, yes, now you can be a master.
Mm,
So
mm,
it's so tightly controlled. It's the authenticity, and it is so important that the master has control over the quality of the
mm,
information and knowledge that the student practice.
mm,
And why this is so important is because it's horrible to say, it's a matter of life and death even, because I have heard stories from my father's students where, when the Feng Shui wasn't right and they did not know it, family members died. And it's
yeah. Wow.
as, it is that powerful and avoidable, right?
Wow.
So it is really important that you find the right teacher, because the wrong information can harm you. So who is their teacher? So important. And so many people, I've looked in websites, I can't find their teachers. They don't mention it. When they don't mention it, you wonder why they don't have one, or
Mm,
the master disowns them.
huh.
Okay.
That's interesting.
So ask for testimonials. How
Mm,
long have they practiced? Because experience is really important here, because each home, each situation is specific. There's
mm,
no one rule stands for all, none.
mm,
Okay.
mm,
So finally ask yourself this question: do I trust this person? Are they
mm,
authentic?
mm. So it's mostly about finding the right person.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
sorting out the wheat from the chaff.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean that's I guess that's one of the most important things with anything is finding out um, who and where the information is coming from, making sure that the person's actually, doing the right stuff. So, if someone's listening out there, is there an exercise or something that they could do in their life, right now that they could get started with? Is there something that comes to mind?
The thing is, I do teach. I have started teaching because on my father's last breath, he made me promise to continue his legacy. That means passing on the knowledge.
Mm,
So I have taught alongside him when he was actively teaching 20, 25 years ago.
wow.
And I haven't since then. And so now I have started this. And that's why I'm with your cause, why I want to write this book, and why I
Yeah.
have started, being active in social media, which I hadn't been before. So it's only the last year. And that was a very pivotal moment when it all happened, which is my pin post on Facebook. It's a very fascinating story.
Wow.
So my father appears to me as a rainbow.
Wow.
If can you imagine a rainbow that followed us sailing all along the coast from Auckland back to Whangarei for 5 hours? Mm,
Wow.
For 5 hours, the rainbow was with us. All right.
Wow.
There's many, many other stories where the rainbow was with us.
Mm,
So it was that moment that I knew he was kicking my butt.
yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's why, yes. And so there is no shortcuts. I don't give feng shui tips because it's so easily misconstrued. And then I am actually confirming what all the others are doing, saying
It's
that
almost like
this
your tip is don't take tips.
exactly, you got it. You got
The
it.
tip is anyone giving tips is not it's not the right way. I like that's a good tip.
That's right. So I do have a course, and that course is it's a fascinating. course.
Mm.
It's the one system. If you have to learn one system, this
Mm.
is the one. Okay.
Nice.
That is the most powerful, the easiest to learn. It's the one that my father started off with. It's the one I started off with. And I know how far, how effective it can be. It has carried me until I started learning the other systems. All right.
And so if someone takes that course, does that mean they can help others with this or help them? So what do they get out of that course? Like what do they end with?
Okay. This is called the personal feng shui archetype. So every one of us have a certain alignment to the magnetic field of the earth.
Wow.
And this system helps you define which one you belong to, right?
Wow.
So you can work out your own personal archetype and everybody else's. Well, I'll be teaching you the formula to calculate that. Once you
Wow.
know that, you know what the most powerful directions are, the most weak, malevolent directions are.
Wow.
And so you know you can orientate your home accordingly. And the beauty of my course is it is the only one in the world that does this. I
Wow.
emphasize 50% on the practice. Everybody just emphasizes knowledge, right?
Mm.
They collect the fees, they pass that knowledge on, they think that's fine. Most of the knowledge is wrong anyway. Okay. But what I teach is the knowledge, and then 50% of that time is I actually help you work on your own home, right?
Right.
So it's a case study for my students to work on it themselves, to check how much they have learned. Then it's for their classmates to work on their particular home. So it's another case study they can practice on. And then I come in and I make sure it's all right. It's like a personal consultation from me.
Right.
So
So you learn the archetypes and then you also learn how to get your own home set up the right way. And then everyone else in the course also works on your home, you work on theirs. And then, yeah, great.
that's right.
Very
So you
cool.
can start to do it, help friends. And that's what
Right.
we want. I want that. I want
Right.
for to be out there, to be helping people.
Nice. Amazing. I love it. I love it. I mean, I suggest everyone goes and learns about this from you if you're listening to this, if you truly want to have that earth luck, and it makes a lot of sense. I'll be looking at it for sure. How do we get in touch? You have a website, isn't it? I think I've
I
got
have a
it.
website. The best, of course, is that email me. And I'm very active on Facebook. I haven't spread myself yet onto the other social media. So I thought I'll focus on Facebook and learn how to do that
Right.
organically, right?
Right.
So I have a lot of stories. I have posted some of those posts onto my masterboon.com, my own personal website, but that's not as up to date. Follow me on my Facebook profile, my personal one, which is masterboon181, right?
Nice. I'll
And
put all the links to your website and your Facebook underneath this video as well.
yeah,
So they
and I will be announcing my workshops, my free, so-called free workshops, but the donation goes to Kiwi course.
Oh, awesome. You're amazing. That's so cool. Well, I mean, I'm inspired. I hope everyone out there is inspired to get some earth luck and to fully you get the energy of their house right. I love it so much. If you had a final message for everybody listening, what, if anything, what would that message be?
I think it has got to be open-minded to the power of the Cosmic Trinity,
Huh.
right? I think that's totally new, but it is. I think that is mind-blowing knowledge that puts everything into context, right? And knowing that mindset then is not alone. It's not enough. Sorry, mindset being
Mm.
just the human side, right? So the feng shui side is the other half. You can double your chance of success by embracing feng shui. And
Wow.
so,
That's a
yeah.
good tagline. Double
Oh,
your success by using Feng Shui. That's very good. I like that. I think everyone listening would like to double their success. That's brilliant.
I think I do have to put this in, right? It is my ultimate vision. And it's
Mm.
like someone says, big, hairy, audacious goal
Hmm.
is to inspire Western urban planners that they should design and build entire cities based on good feng shui principles.
Wow.
Okay? That's not new. All right? Hong Kong and Singapore fully embrace feng shui and just look how prosperous they are with no natural resources.
Right.
And
Right.
we, our family, has done urban spaces in the East, in Southeast Asia. And they like 30, 40 years. And for Chinese people, they like new properties. For a property that's about 50 years old, it's still increasing in value. Shopping
Wow.
malls that are just thriving,
Wow.
right? And
Wow.
those that are not built, you can just see it. I can see it in the viaduct. You just have to walk at night on a weekday. You see a lot, half the apartments don't have lights on, right? And to me, those buildings whisper to me, though bad feng shui, those that are, it's bad feng shui, and I confirm it with the number of lights. So
Wow.
that's where ultimately I would love to go. So all I need to do is to speak to people like you, Chris, who will help me
Yes.
get my message out and create a movement, right?
Oh, we're all behind it. You know, things like this are so crucial, so crucial. And so I'm so grateful that you chose to be part of this book. And everyone listening, go grab your copy, because we've just touched on the surface of your amazing chapter and all the other chapters. And so I highly recommend everybody grab Superconscious Transformation. It's yeah, it's full of amazing stories and people just like you who are out there to do their part in trying to raise consciousness and make the world a better place. So big thank you to you. And I'm so grateful that you're part of this book. And listeners, thanks for tuning in. Go grab your copy of the Superconscious book series. Talk to you soon.
I do have to say this. This is really cute. So be open-minded. When I say be open-minded to the power of Cosmic Trinity, that's Destiny, Chris Duncan, and Master Boon. Okay.
That's a good way to finish. Bye. See you, everybody. Thanks.